Hey folks, Cool18 here, and welcome to another episode of a Let's Play slash Let's Learn the Kerbal Space Program. And I'm really happy that I learned finally how to fly airplanes in KSP, as well as make these this sort of science car thing that some people recommended I do, which is basically I just made a plane without wings. Originally I tried to use the plane to go and scout things out over there, but it turns out the wings tended to make things tip over. So what's going on here is I was able to use this little vehicle, just like this, to go and science every place in the Kerbal Science or Space Center. And anyway, all that put together earned tons and tons and tons of science. So that was really useful. Let's go ahead and apply the full brakes and then just recover this bad boy. So Zombie Jebediah was able to get us lots and lots of science points. I don't know why we've got him, but you know, whatever, that's fine. And that is really good because in this episode we are going for the moon. We are not going to land on the moon. We're going to do a lunar flyby. We do have a contract to simply get close to the moon, and obviously we'd like to science around the moon quite heavily. So what we're going to do is we're going to use all our science here to, well, first of all, I need to make sure to remember to upgrade my tracking station. That way we will get the ability to do flight planning, maneuvers, etc., etc., etc. Get some more information on our map. All that is really good. I don't know what you get in the next level. Unowned object tracking. More contracts. Okay, so none of that particularly matters. But with this science, we can unlock some of the bigger fuel tanks and engines, which means we should be able to get away without upgrading the vehicle assembly building, which is good because we don't have enough money to do that. Once we finish our moon contract, I think we'll get about $100,000, so we might be able to do it at that point. Okay, so for the science we're going to unlock heavy rocketry, because we do have the fuel system. So we've got the big fuel tanks, the Rockomax level fuel tanks, or the 2.5 meter diameter ones. So we want some engines to match. Now we won't have access to the mainsails, which are over here, big bad boys. But still, I think it's going to help. Maybe it doesn't make much of a difference. You can get the big kickback solid fuel boosters. We don't need the propulsion systems, I don't think. Advanced construction. I think we can live without all that. There's another adapter here. I don't know what size to what size it goes to. These aerodynamics are not required for now. They can make really cool planes though, but we'll do it later. I don't think we actually need the landing because we are not going to do a lunar landing. We don't necessarily need these extra options. Advanced flight control. The RCS thruster blocks are good, but not required. Same thing with miniaturization. We do need the electrics. I'm going to do that. And I might go ahead and unlock the heavy rocketry, just to check to see if we might want to use some of these bad boys. And then other than that, I'm not sure. We might want to do some stuff for satellites later on. I'm not sure which points we might want to save for that, versus what we might need for anything here. Let's go and see what kind of rocket we build as is, and save our science for now. Sorry if that's like in the way. I just made sure to... I just reset my mods to use CCAN, an automatic mod downloader, so I basically just reinstalled all my mods. I should let you know what mods I actually have, because I'm sure people will be curious. I should have a list in the description. I am running Planet Shine now, so we'll talk about that. Basically, the reason I'm using Planet Shine is for the ability to just add a little bit more ambient light, because especially on YouTube, when we're in a dark area, it just turns completely black, or, you know, just really, really muddy on YouTube, so need a little bit more ambient light to make that work. The crowdsourced science still have it. I grabbed the docking port alignment indicator mod because it sounds like something I will need, but much, much later. Kerbal alarm clock I also grabbed, even though I'm not sure we're going to need it right now, but it seemed good. Quick search, raster prop, monitor core, which is mostly there for ScanSat, and then of course it's science alert. So basically just running the same mods as before. Nothing too game changey. Okay, so we are going to start this off. First, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to fly by the moon. While we're there, we're going to collect all the science from Mooner sort of orbit slash... It's not suborbital, but maybe flyby. We'll see. We might drop into Mooner orbit. We'll see how it goes. And then we're just going to come back to Earth. And we're basically... Oh, and on our return, or potentially while in Mooner orbit, we're going to EVA, collect all the science, so that we can land with simply the command pod and not have to worry about retaining anything else. So, I mean, obviously we start with this, right? This is how we're going to return. So, and we're going to have, sorry, a stack decoupler under that. This is just how we're coming back home. I could, I suppose, just return with the actual science module if I maybe stick on an extra radio parachute or two or something like that. Just get lots of parachutes so we land nice and softly no matter what. And of course you can put landing gear, but I'm going to try to minimize some of the weight. Speaking of weight, how much delta V do we need? So there seems to be some confusion as to exactly how much delta V we need to enter orbit from Kerbal. And the problem is a lot of the numbers online, actually, like everything online, all the wikis and stuff like that, almost all of it is out of date. It's hard to find stuff that is completely and properly updated for version 1.02. Some of it, of course, is the same, but some of it is not, and it's kind of misleading and annoying. 4500 used to be the old delta V, and then version 1 apparently, dropped the requirements to about 3200. But version 1.02 might have dropped it up to about 3600 to be able to get into orbit. However, that's assuming you're like optimal. So I'm still going to aim for about 4500 delta V. That way, the fact that I don't have an optimal launch, sequence and I make mistakes will give me some extra breathing room, which is good. So we got that. Now, what we're going to do is put in our science modules underneath this. Science Junior. And we're going to need, where is it? I don't remember where the service bay. We're going to do that. I'm going to load it up with the science bits right away. We're going to also save this module for the future, but we have to do a few other things for it. We need to make sure to have ladders as well. Let me go and put those on right now before I forget. Now, I don't know how frequently you need the ladders. And we only have to get close. We don't actually have to climb onto the service bay. If I do something like that, will we be able to climb enough? Tell you what, out of paranoia, I'm going to do one of those. I mean, we can use the rocket pack. God, that's a whole other part. I mean, I could just use my rocket pack the whole time, but let's do this and hope that it's good enough. That if I climb down to here, I'll be able to gather some of the science. Which means I should actually grab this thing and not rotate it that way, rotate it that way. I don't know if it makes a difference. But what I can do is ensure that my goo pod, which is what I actually have to collect the science from, is right over here. Boom, like so. If I close this, it's not sticking out or anything. No, we're good. Okay. So, we're going to put more sciencey bits in here. We're going to go, we've got a thermometer. We are, I guess, going to have the pressure, the barometer, which doesn't really make much sense. What kind of barometer data are we going to get from orbit? I'm going to go ahead and grab the engineering system. Not that we necessarily... No, I want it. I want to be able to get like remaining delta V and stuff while we're in space. We're going to close this up. Now, the next thing we're going to want is a little bit of continuous power. You know what? I can put battery packs inside of this. Let's do one of those. So under utility, we're going to go and put at least one battery pack in here, which gives us... What do we get, like, the total fuel? You can get it when you're in space. Oh, right here, resources, electric charge. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, is the total electric charge that we'll have. 150 is not much, but I think it'll like cover us on the dark side of the moon or whatever if we're still doing a scan. But I'm going to put a solar panel on. Now, I'm tempted to actually put a solar panel on this bit here so that I guarantee that no matter what happens with decoupling this, I could potentially keep some solar energy, and I'm going to do that. So, we've got a solar panel that I can mount right over there. Might burn off during re-entry, but hopefully it'll be okay. We could do, like the Kerbal X, what it does is it has a solar panel on both sides, so sort of no matter which way you're pointing, you'll be able to get some sun. You know what? I'm actually just gonna move it down here. I'm not gonna have one on both sides, because we're gonna try to minimize how many parts we use. We can just make sure that our belly here is always facing the sun, so that we don't run out of power, because we know that that's bad. Okay, so now here's the thing. Let's assume we happen to go into lunar orbit. Actually, this whole stage is, I believe, going to have to take us from Kerbal orbit to the moon and back. So, from a lowish orbit, to escape that, let's do a little bit of math here, based on some of these charts. So, it looks like we need about rounding up to make sure we don't make a mistake. Maybe about 800 delta V to get out of low orbit to sort of moon transfer. And then if we want to park in orbit around moon, we need maybe another 800 delta V. And then we sort of need that much more to get back. So about 3,200 to make the round trip, assuming we go into moon or orbit. 3,200 delta V. We won't need any to break. So I might be overkilling it, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's reasonable. So with that in mind, why can't I rotate? Thank you very much. With that in mind, if I take this bit, if I put on, say, this fuel tank and a carrier engine, how much delta V does this give me? Yeah, see, I think I need a lot more than that, unless I'm reading the chart wrong, which is entirely possible. And that is assuming we start from low orbit. If we don't, this might be enough, but I'm not sure. We could also potentially save some weight. I might be like understanding things like terribly wrong. We could use a different engine too that's got like more efficiency, but I'm not sure. I mean, unless we want to go to the Rockomax components right away, and then we could get quite a bit more. But I was hoping to make this stage a little bit lighter. I suppose, just because, you know, it's sort of a reasonable kind of structure going on here. If we did go and put in another decoupler at this point, and then built our next stage to see what would happen. So let's say we flip to the Rockomax adapter at this point. I really don't want to lose anyone in space if we can't make it there. I might be understanding these charts completely wrong, but we'll see. So, big fuel tank. We're going to want at least 2 of these. We probably want more. Now, of course, again, we don't have the big Rockomax engines. How does this one look? It actually does perfectly fine in the atmosphere. Smaller sibling. Mid-stage booster, yeah, but we might just use it as a launch. Okay, that's pretty goddamn good, actually. This should actually be enough to get us into Kerbal orbit. And I think get us to the moon and back. I'm not 100% sure. But one of the things I could do is add a little bit more. What are we at parts now? We have 20 parts in total. So we've got some parts to spare, which means I could go and get a few more detachable sort of liftoff stage. I mean, I could just give us yet another fuel tank. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't actually need to lift it up. If I do this, it doesn't actually... Well, it does give us more delta V, but not necessarily the most efficient thing. We're carrying a lot of weight that we may not need to do. Whereas if we do something like use these... Hold on, we need a radial. Yeah, we still have these decouplers as well, but let's say we use this in, I don't know, triple configuration. I don't know about sizes of things. We do that, and then grab the FL 800 tanks. Take these decouplers. Bring them down to around there. And throw, I guess the swivel ones on there. Like that. And restructure our stages around. Like so. And just get the fuel transfer lines. Like that, and that'll connect them all. So all 4 big engines go to start off with. These will burn off pretty quick, transferring their fuel to the main fuel tanks. This is actually adding much. Well, I think we can get there and back with this. Let me think about this again. We needed, again, I'm sort of rounding up to be kind of generous about things. Kerbal escape / capture. So we need 55 at about 6,000 delta V for full escape with. Oh wait, sorry, no, that's different. I'm actually not sure this is enough. I'm really concerned about that. Now, one of the ways I could simply alleviate some of this is actually if I have one extra stage for return. Right? Because let's say I did something as simple as a smaller tank there, another Terrier, another stack decoupler. Oh, hold on, we already had a stack decoupler there. Oh, it's because we're missing one here, actually. Let's see here. All the engines turn on. Not really gaining much, are we? All the engines turn on. We break off the radials. Main one keeps going. We break that off. This one keeps going. Bring us to the moon. We do all our science experiments. Then we pop that off. We still have this stage here, giving us some extra burn. And then the parachute. Yeah, it's actually making things worse. It's a lot of weight. I guess it's because we've lost some on liftoff. This first stage is doing very, very little for us. Very little for us. Considering how much extra weight we're hauling on top. Making things lighter is probably ultimately going to be better. So just okay, we've got 6,000 delta V right now. If I just like remove these, no, okay. I mean, they are contributing something, of course, that makes sense. It's all the extra weight on top that is the issue. Oh gosh, guys, what are we gonna do? It's gonna be very unstable. It does give us a little bit of extra kick. Yeah, this is actually better. This is actually quite a bit better. Oh, is this enough? I have no idea. What if we take this? A little bit more. Well, we can do the thing like they do in the Kerbal X thing, where these guys actually feed in. No, god damn it! Fuck's sake! Grab what I want you to grab. I want you to grab. There we go. The fuel duct. Okay, let's make sure everything is connected reasonably. Yes, good. Which means this feeds into that. Turn them all on, but we want a different stage for this group. So this is very similar to the Kerbal X example one. So they all turn on. 3 of these feed into these. So then we abandon those once they run out. And then the next boosters, and then we keep going with the main one. Not necessarily gaining very much from it, but it's technically there. Should we just try it and hope? I'm really worried that we don't quite have enough. How many parts am I using? Oh, 44 parts. Way too many. Okay, yes. So don't do this. Plus, it wasn't giving us that much more. We're down to 32, which is still too many parts. Crap. Here's another plan. If I just... Let's remove the Terrier. Remove that. Use a bigger fuel tank over there. Okay. I think that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. It's a little nuts. Oh, and we don't have any, I mean, we might be able to keep stability where we are. But we don't have any winglets. I don't know. The thrust to weight ratio, just starting off, is pathetic. Alright. One thing we can do, look at these giant boosters, maybe too big. And while we know that the SRBs are not like the path to all victory, I think here is exactly where we need it. We just have such a poor thrust to weight ratio on liftoff. Because this doesn't take into account the fact that we might have like really terrible aerodynamics. So we'll still have like actually relatively poor thrust to weight ratio. Alright, we're going to try this. Worst case scenario, we'll know that we can't get back. We're not actually getting into orbit. If we're not getting into moon orbit, like I'm doing all my calculations based on the concept that we might have to get out of moon orbit. This is almost certainly massive, massive overkill, but I like massive, massive overkill. So this is going to be the Mooner Flyby Mark 1. God damn, I hope this works right. So we got Zombie Jebediah over here. We've got our science. It's probably massive, massive, massive overkill. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put an antenna, which I want to do. I have one part left. I'm going to put an antenna just in case something terribly, terribly wrong happens. We have the option of transmitting back to Earth. Or, sorry, back to Kerbal. Okay, exactly 30 parts, which is currently my limit with the VAB. I'm sure I could have done a much better job. I'm probably just bringing too much stuff with me. Well, no, I've got to bring these. I could save a few parts and some weight by getting rid of the ladders. I mean, I'm assuming the ladders aren't terribly heavy. Yeah, effectively, no. We're not even doing a landing. Okay, and I'm probably misunderstanding some of the math. We're going to probably end up with lots of extra delta V, but I want to because I'm still so unoptimal. We're going to waste a lot of our potential delta V here. Okay. Vessel. The total delta V numbers change because of, I don't know, reasons. SAS turn on. Full throttle. Step 1, orbit. Are we going to topple over? We might want some structural beams or something like that. Let's just fucking take off before we fall over. Oh, I don't have my stages set right. That might have been changing some of my calculations. Hang on. Let's recover the vessel right now. Did I click it properly? Or did I go to Space Center? Yeah, we went to Space Center, but that's okay. We can still recover this thing. Let me make sure my stages are set properly here. Okay, it doesn't actually change your numbers. But it does give us more thrust to weight ratio, I think, on that first stage. So there we go. All right, let's just SAS and go before we wobble our way off the platform here. I don't like this lack of stability, but boom. At least these engines, that one there can steer. Okay, SRBs are firing. Speed is going up slowly. So my approach is going to be to get to, at 15 kilometers, I'm going to start my turn. By 20 kilometers off the surface, I'm going to be trying to go at a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to aim for about 100 kilometers for our initial orbit here. So we're getting some atmospheric drag, but I don't think that's too many. I could still throttle back, but we're starting to get into thinner atmosphere. I think the full burn is perfectly okay here. We're not getting ridiculous amounts of anything. Now, hopefully this is stable enough that when I tip over towards the east here, it doesn't just go end over end over end, which would be pretty bad. I turn on precision control and just start tapping. Nope, we're alright. And nope, we're not alright. Not at all. Come on, you can do it. There we go. A little bit wasteful. This is why I brought extra fuel, extra delta V. I'm going to keep going at the 45-degree angle until my apoapsis is at 100, or we cross like 50K or something like that, where it gets nice and thin, at which point I'll go straight into a 90-degree burn. And we are not quite where we want to go. Okay. Alright, let's go to around 90 degree right now. This will keep increasing our apoapsis. Alright, there we go. I didn't time it quite right because it would have been nice for us to be going a little bit more to the side. But we'll go. We still have enough fuel in here that we will be able to circularize our orbit. Right? So I want to round off my orbit. We might even be able to use some of this to escape Kerbin entirely, which is really not where we want to go, but so even with the increased tracking, I still don't have the ability to use my SAS to lock on to a particular vector. So it really is just pilot level, I guess. Also, it can't really rotate right now with so much weight here. I probably should just abandon this, but you know. I could have put maybe a reaction wheel system in here to help us stay level. We would have wasted a little bit less energy, but that's all right. So I'm trying just to aim properly prograde here. Very hard without the assist, and also just the wheels aren't doing much. I don't even have the caps lock key on for precise movement. Actually, I realized the actual prograde we're going to want to hit is going to be very close to the 90-degree mark, so I should really get myself in position for that. As soon as I do turn on the engines, we will get a lot more ability to steer because there's a gimbal on there. We're very nearly where we want to go. How much burn do we have left in this stage? 35 seconds? That's a lot. Now, we don't actually need a truly circular orbit, but we do want to be in orbit so we can look. So I think with about 10 seconds left, I'll go ahead and hit the burn. That should be plenty. Plenty, plenty. So about 10 seconds before apoapsis. How you doing there, Jeb? Doing all right? Oh, I certainly hope so. Oh, science. I got to tell this to use the other... Well, it doesn't matter. All my settings got reset. 5 seconds to go. And burn. So just watching the periapsis go here. The apoapsis should barely change at all. Very quickly approaching circularization. We have plenty of burn left, I think, to complete this maneuver. We'll have a little bit of fuel left in here when we actually jettison it. And we get the camera change and stop. Okay, so because of reasons, our apoapsis does grow a bit, but our periapsis is basically circular. So at this point, I am going to go ahead and jettison this stage. All right. So that was our liftoff stage. So this is the entire stage we're going to use to try to get to the moon, if possible. Now, let's pop open that so we can keep track of things. We're not using any electric charge right now because the SAS doesn't do anything except stability, and we're pretty stable. If it does have to rotate... so the command module itself uses no power whatsoever, which is nice. A little weird, but nice. I got to remember I can save weight by getting rid of this monopropellant, for example. The sun's right behind us, which means our solar panels aren't actually getting anything done, I don't think. If we right-click on this. Technically direct sunlight, but no real sun exposure. I could rotate so that we face in the right direction, but I think we'd just be using more power than we need to just to rotate around, although our rotation will generally be a lot better. Okay, let's figure out our maneuver, so because apparently we can do maneuver nodes at this point. So if I am looking north, right? This is North Pole, so I should be flying in this direction. Indeed I am. Oh, I think the alarm add-on added this Warp 2 AP button, which is very handy. What? There was an EVA option for a second there? That was weird. We're going to ignore that. Okay, so we're doing this way. The moon should also be moving in this general direction. Which means if we go, say, here, add a maneuver, and and prograde this. There we go. We'll encounter the moon right over here, which is great. Also, what's handy is if I focus the view to that, it'll show me the approach, like where we'll actually encounter it there. And what I want to do, if I go a little further, we'll encounter the moon from the other side. Oh, I might need to adjust where my where I take off, because I really want to approach. I want to hit the moon from the other side, because that'll kill more of my thrust. So we want to leave a little bit later, something more like here. I think I'm thinking this right. No, no, no! Don't do that one. Shit! Now I got to reset it all. There are mods that let you fine-tune your maneuver nodes a little bit easier, which might be nice for when I accidentally grab the wrong bit. There we go. That's a little low. So something like this. And because of the way, we should come in here, because I'm going this way, but then I should encounter the moon in the opposite direction. It should act as like a gravity brake as opposed to a gravity slingshot, if I remember my orbital mechanics correctly, which I'm probably cocking up completely. So we'll do that, and then as we approach the moon, we'll do another maneuver, which I guess I could like plug in now, couldn't I? You know, I mean, we'll have to have a fine-tuning maneuver at some point, but something like this to come back, and I don't know. Well, we could just go into orbit. Very eccentric orbit. Actually, that's double plus on good, because I didn't do it at the periapsis. So if I did it right at the periapsis over here, it would use quite a bit less. Still an eccentric orbit, but honestly would be a lot easier to leave again. Minimal burn to get into orbit, and then because we didn't retrograde that much, we should be able to leave relatively easily. So that's the general idea. We might need a bit of a corrective burn along the way, but that is the plan. So, when's our next maneuver? 13 minutes right now. Estimated burn is only 19 seconds. Now, is there any way to find out, like, this maneuver, like, how much delta V is this maneuver? Like, the one coming up is 844. 844 delta V we've got to spend to leave Kerbal orbit and go to the moon. But this maneuver here, and I keep mousing over things and then rolling my mouse, which is actually fucking everything up. Amazing. So let's not do that. I'm trying to scroll, and if you scroll over one of the command or the control nodes here, it'll actually change one of them. So, but yeah, as far as I can tell, I can't see what that is. What is this EVA report that it's giving me? I gotta set my options here again. Hold on. Biome, scan set. Yes, use the Blizzy toolbar. Close this. Sure, we'll put all those on. There. And then I think we're going to stick you over there is the idea. Ah. Okay. All right, let's get back over here. So, power's fine. We're not doing anything right now. Oh, yeah, my... this is a good time to adjust this. Where's my... Oh, we got to set these up over here. My planet shine. I forgot that my settings got reset, so everything is super dark. Planet shine. I just want to bring up the ambient light, which isn't realistic, but that's what I'm looking for. A little bit of planet shine light. But there we go. So now, despite the fact that we're on the dark side of the planet, you can still actually see something. Good. The experiments, we will... Come on, there we go. Undock. Go here. No. Right there. Lock. All right. So, I guess we'll speed up until we get close to our maneuver node. No reason not to do that. This is getting me incredibly tense. How long is it? Oh my god, it's already been 35 minutes, this video. We're gonna have to put a cut in here. I'm sorry to, like, kill the drama. because you don't know if I'm going to kill anyone. I still think I've overkilled how much I've brought, but I don't feel confident about any of the numbers. So until I've done a flyby, this is one of the reasons I'm not doing a lunar landing the first go. I want to do a flyby to get a basic sense of things. Plus, hopefully we'll get a lot of money from completing our mission for flying by the moon, which will hopefully give us enough to upgrade our VAB buildings so that we can use more parts, which will be important for a landing. If nothing else, we need, landing gear. And we're already at our 30, so thank you very much for watching this episode. I'm sorry we're not flying by the moon on this one, but it'll probably be another 30 or more minute video just to get there, just because I'm being super ultra cautious about all the things. But thank you very much. As always, your comments are really appreciated. The likes, the favorites, all those things. Your support for this series has been phenomenal. So I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.